You are part of this program. On the Porch. On the Porch serves as a welcoming space where people gather comfortably to engage in lively conversations and share God's blessings in their lives. Let's come together to connect, chat, and prepare ourselves for the busy week ahead. Bring your favorite drink of food every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Let's chat, talk, and be blessed with the Porch. Watch live broadcast FB Live at Revival of Hope Global Outreach and YouTube at Rogan. See you there.
Experience the beauty of spiritual connection with Revival of Hope Global Outreach Ministries. Join us for our weekly programs that will uplift your soul and inspire your heart. Every Sabbath morning, pop-up worship with Pastor Ronnie Joseph Hobson Sr., where we rediscover our connection to Jesus. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m., on the Porch, a cozy gathering to chat, share, and find inspiration for the week ahead. Tuesday special. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., women's program, My Mess Became My Message, by Dr. Serene Michel Pert, a source of empowerment and inspiration for every woman. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., Praise Power Hour. Join us for a powerful session of praise, prayer, and blessings to uplift your midweek spirits. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m., Man Cave Talks, a space for every man to share, connect, and find inspiration. Don't miss out on these transformative and uplifting gatherings at Revival of Hope Global Outreach Ministries.
In the journey of life, we often face trials and tribulations that test our faith and resilience. But through every challenge, there is a guiding light. Revival of Hope Global Outreach Ministries proudly presents My Mess Became My Message, 7 p.m., by Dr. Michel Pert Ford. Dr. Michel has transformed her life's challenges into a powerful message of hope and healing. Her mission is to create a safe space for women to find freedom, healing, and self-worth. Join Dr. Michel on this transformative journey. Discover the power of faith, hope, and healing. Together, we can overcome any obstacle and embrace the future God has planned for us.
Press on, and to know that the God that we serve is the same today, the same yesterday, and He will be the same forever.
Remember, you are not alone. God is with you, guiding you every step of the way. Join us this upcoming January for a beautiful healing and transformation.
God is in this story.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to our program. My mess became my message. I miss you guys. Last week I was sick. I am still not 100%, but thank God I am feeling better. And we're here. I'm here to share. And we're here to learn and to grow together. So as usual, I want you to put in your chat where you're listening from. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how grateful are you today? Tell how you're feeling, how you're doing, and depending on how you rate yourself, why? Why did you rate yourself? What happened in your day that makes you feel like you can't be grateful in spite of what it may be? So just put in the chat where you're visiting from and scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling, gratitude. And here's my co-host, Queenie, as usual, from the Philippines, hailing from the Philippines. Welcome, Queenie.
Thank you. Welcome everyone as well who are listening from all over the world. I'm glad to be here with you guys again.
Yes, so today our topic is you are a masterpiece, embracing your worth and purpose. And when I usually go through different life events that may have occurred in my life before I develop these topics. And I think what triggered this topic was at one point in my life I had low self-worth. And the reason why I say that is because when you don't value yourself, you allow people to treat you a certain way and you take it. But at that time, I didn't understand that was what was going on, because when you look around your family, look around people you know, and to see that they stay in relationships, or just stay around people that make them feel devalued or less than, then you grow up seeing that that's not something you want to do, but that's what you know. So that's a trend that you continue. And while I was thinking about that, I'm like, man, I've grown past that, obviously, because now I view myself as a masterpiece. So now I'm learning
Mhm.
still, masterpiece. If you think about a painter, a designer, or whatever it may be, it's a lifetime. It's a work in progress for a lifetime. It's not something that just happened overnight. So I am still in the process of embracing my worth and still
Mhm.
praying to God to show me my full purpose. So that's how that topic came about.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
That's really a good point because I know a lot of women are suffering from, being in part of in a relationship wherein their light is dimmed and it's hard to get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
especially with issues not just with like with domestic violence. I've been hearing a lot of news about that, and it's difficult. That it's good that we have this kind of talk right now to
Mm-hmm.
discuss this so that we can help these women to be able to acknowledge and get out of these difficult situations, not just with domestic violence, but with if there's no violence, there could be emotional violence as well,
Mm-hmm.
financial oppression, stuff like that. It's like it's a whole spectrum. So I'm glad that we are talking about this. I would like to, share as well, because I haven't been in a lot of um, relationships before, but I've grown to develop this self worth that I've had as a moment. But it's a growing process, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It is. It definitely is. So I want to add to that as well, is that not only you are a masterpiece, the tagline
Mhm.
that I want you to remember, if you don't remember anything that I say today, is that you are beautifully created. And this is from our creator God, right? You are
Mhm.
beautifully created. You're purposefully designed and worthy just as you are. Not like anyone else, not striving to be like someone else. You are worthy just as you are. So accept yourself for who you are.
Mhm. I just want to ask, um, you know, um, as I was growing, it was really hard for me to, you know, find that worth that within yourself. Like we tend to, as I was young, I usually tend to lean onto my friend's opinion of me, and
Mm-hmm.
I tend to, I would see myself as like, you know, I might not be enough as a friend, or I might not be enough as a partner. They
Mm-hmm.
would tell me to, I have to do this, I have to do that, and we tend to mold ourselves into that. And my self worth back then was really low because I was not enough for some of my friends. I was not enough for some of my partners before. So I wanted to ask what advice you can share to people who are having this difficulty, you know, to find their
Okay.
worth.
Oh, okay, definitely. So I think this self-worth has to be something that's instilled from childhood. And that is something that I did. And, if I'll go back to now, but I'm just going to go with my children, because I know that that was not something that, my parents did, because that's not something that their parents did. But with my kids, I try to focus on not so much their beauty, because I think a lot of times people are like, oh my goodness, it's a facial thing. It's not. It's what on the inside. So instead of telling them, hey, you're beautiful, I'm like, you are smart. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. I said, you are like my son always I call my kids prince and princesses. And then when I say you are royalty and you carry yourself that way, when you step outside, it doesn't matter what anyone say to you, unless you own it, then it will become a part of you. So I remember my son, when he was in second grade, I guess someone said something very mean to him. And he came and he asked me, and he said, Mom, I can't believe they said that. I said, is that you? And he said, no. I said, well, don't own it. I said, do not own it. And I said, when they tell you that, said, hey, that is your perspective of me, but that is not who I am. So I think as long as we keep telling ourselves, people are nasty, people are going to see you less than, but that's their perspective. Everyone has an opinion, correct? But that's their opinion of you. That doesn't make that you. That's not who you are. So I think as long as you own that, okay, you can say ugly, or I'm disgusting, or I'm not going to amount to anything. Hey, that's what you think, but that's not who God created me to be.
That is true.
Just don't own it. Because I think when you own it, that's when it becomes a problem.
That's true. And if you allow those people to speak to you that way, to degrade you, to you know, talk to you about like things that you should change, and if you allow them, it becomes hard to find who you are as a person.
Exactly.
And
And I always
yeah,
tell my daughter, those are not your friends. They're
that's
not your
true.
friends. So your friends will never devalue you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, how do we find those kind of friends though? Um, when I was younger, I tend to have like a larger group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a certain type of clique, we have a certain type of like a group, and then like I have to go with the flow with those type of group. But nowadays, I can say that I have like a few friends that I value. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we find those kind of lifelong friends to
Okay.
help us grow? Yeah.
So I think as you mature, your mindset changes. Because like you, I was like that. But I don't think I always had like a huge group of friends. I always have probably about 3 or 4 people in my corner.
Mm-hmm.
Even growing up, I was very popular because I did track and field, but I kept people at a distance. And then maybe because I was hurting as a kid and I didn't know, I didn't understand. So I didn't allow people to come in, and I didn't allow a lot of people to come into my space, pretty much. And I know people
Mm-hmm.
used to say that, oh, I act like I'm better than people. I'm not down to earth. I'm not. No, I'm introverted, and I'm very cautious about who I let into my space, because I did not want to be hurt. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I had a core group of friends, childhood, high school, college, as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more you mature, you don't have to let people go. They leave. They
Yeah.
leave. Because when your mindset starts changing, and the things that they're involved in, you're not involved in, they they tend to say, because I know one of my friends said, I act like I'm better than her. I'm not better than you. I just don't do those things that I used to do anymore. And it's either going
Mm-hmm.
to accept the change, or you're going to keep moving on. So I have a core group of friends that I met in my adult life, and they've been nothing but make me feel special. They even
Mm-hmm.
even when I was going through my divorce, and I've had like difficult times that I have to, with family, And I mean, they have been my rock and they have been my support. And that's how you test your friendship, is when you're going through difficult times. That's
Hmm.
when you test your friendship.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because if you if you as a woman, keep continually keep those kind of company, then it's not good for your self-worth. Obviously, it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be good for your mental health as well. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to have a lot of anxiety. You're going to develop
Depression.
depression sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets to that point if you entertain those kind of people. I used to have like, I'm easily swayed, I would say. Before, like, I'd be easily swayed to bad influences,
Mm-hmm.
and friends who would ask me to like drink, or, well, I haven't smoked or anything like that, like just like party a little bit and drink a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. And those
Mm-hmm.
are it starts off as like, just little nudges here and there, a little bit of peer pressure, until eventually you start to, like, get into it, and then you start to wonder, like, how did this happen? How did I change completely from a person who is, totally devoted to God, and then suddenly I'm I've changed myself to someone who is more worldly. And it's not like, yeah, I'm part of the world, I'm part of like a huge group of friends, I'm part of this, like this group of people who are happy to go out all the time, but it drains you,
Mm-hmm.
not just financially, but like it drains you as well of your your health. And
Yes.
that affects a lot, with the company that you keep, as especially with what you said, because I was the opposite of you.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to keep yourself away from people. I heard from that, that's kind of like an avoidant or an introvert. But I used to be an introvert, but I wanted to fit in, I wanted to be part of this group of friends that I found. So, especially since I went to high school in the States, and
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, the American people are like these type of people, and they're like
Mm-hmm.
really high up in my pedestal. So I kind of wanted to be part of them, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so I developed my personality. I catered to them. I
Yeah.
catered to what they
You
wanted. I
assimilated.
catered to them. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was like that. And then for several years I didn't know who I was. Like, it was difficult to,
Mm-hmm.
to see and to feel that, you are more than what your friends tell you that you are. You're more
Yes.
than the short-term boyfriends that your friends pressured you to be part of, because that's, at least you
Yes.
have to talk about something
Yes.
like that, And I've seen a lot of like, I have had a friend as well who got involved in a relationship where it wasn't physically abusive, but he was more emotionally abusive, and they she stayed in that relationship for so long
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
her self-worth started to, go down. She started to devalue herself. Especially, it wasn't just her boyfriend, it was also her aunt. I mean, her his mother, that was degrading
Mm-hmm.
her in a sense.
Yeah.
And if you keep, yeah, and I kept on telling her, like, you have to get out of that relationship. She's my
Mm-hmm.
lifelong best friend. I found her in college, and
Wow.
I told her,
Okay.
like, you have to get out of that relationship, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not good for you. Because she was, when once you're extremely stressed, your body starts to respond as well.
It
So
does. It
I've seen
does.
this. Yeah, I've seen this happen. Like, you break out, and she was losing a lot of weight because of he was cheating, and there was like a lot of, emotional
Mm-hmm.
manipulation on his part, and she didn't see her worth with him. And so I kept on fighting. I kept on fighting about that. So I was just asking if, like, with women who are, who get themselves into this situation, and do you have any advice to help them get out of it?
Well, that's something that I will share tonight because I have a story similar to your friends, and I will definitely share. my experience and how I overcame it. So, but I'm not going to jump ahead. But I will tell you how I overcame that relationship. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So, I'm excited to take this journey with each and every one of you. I am so excited. And this is all about embracing who you are, your worth, your beauty, and your purpose. Because you, my friend, are a masterpiece. Let's say that. I mean, you have to repeat that every day. I am a masterpiece. Maybe you have doubted your value, right? You have doubted your value. Maybe life has made you feel like you're not enough. And I know at some point we've all felt like that, whether it's from parents, family member, friends, we feel like we're not enough. And sometimes we compare ourselves. Even social media sometimes make you feel like you're not enough. But let me tell you right now, you were created with intention. And every part of you, even the parts you don't always love, are part of something beautiful. Because God doesn't make any mistake. Whatever he does is beautiful. You know, he spoke and it came to being. Look at our earth. Even though it's marred by sin, it's still beautiful. So even though we're marred by sin, we are still beautiful. We are part of God's creation. And I tell you a little bit about me. I've been on my own journey of learning to embrace my worth. I'm still on that journey. Healing from past wounds and stepping into confidence. And I know sometimes people try to say I'm arrogant because I'm confident. But that is something that I will discuss later as well. Because I remember my ex-husband told me I was arrogant because he couldn't handle my confidence. So tonight I want to share encouragement, share a real story, and practical wisdom that will help you do the same. Okay? So here I want to start with some truth about you. I had my PowerPoint, but I don't know why it's not coming up. Oh, forget it. Some truths about you. You are not a mistake. Not at all. You know how some parents like to say, man, this was unplanned. Oh, this is a oops baby. You are not a mistake. God intended for you to be here. You are not too much or too little. Take up space. This world is big enough. Don't let anyone shrink who you are. Take up space. And most importantly, and I'll reiterate that as I keep going through this presentation, is that you are a masterpiece in progress. And I said masterpiece subjectively in progress because it is not something that's just happened overnight. It takes time, significant time. It takes dedication and practice. So this can span from years, even a lifetime in the process. So you are developing skills and evolving into the actual purpose and creation that God has created you to be. Many experts suggest that mastering any skills, especially artistic one, I do paint, so I know I'm not a great painter, but I paint. And this requires a real painter. Like we're talking about Kincaid or, you know, the Mona Lisa painting, all that stuff. It takes 10,000 hours.
Doctor. Oh.
Okay, I'm back. I think I
Yeah.
came run out 4 minutes. So it takes over 10,000 hours of practice. And that is equivalent to 5 years of full-time effort. 5 years, right? So a masterpiece does not develop overnight. It takes time, it takes work, it takes patience, it takes effort. So whoever is listening out there and you feel like, man, I get up this morning, I felt good, but then, oh, I failed. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay to make those mistakes because that's how we grow. So just know that it takes 10,000 hours, 5 whole years for you to master any skills. So one of my favorite scriptures is Psalms 139, verse 14, which says, and I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So I want you to think about that. You were made with awe and wonder. You know, when God created the earth, when he created every single segment that he created, what did he say? It is good. It is good. So you were made with awe and wonder. But sometimes, unfortunately, life makes you forget that. It makes us forget that very quickly. Maybe someone make you feel small. Maybe past mistakes or pain have dimmed your light. But here's what I want you to know. Nothing can take away your worth. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You were valuable the day you were born, and you are valuable today. It doesn't matter your past wounds, your pain, your hurt. From the day you were born, you've been valuable up to this point today. So with that said, I want to share a personal story of mine.
Mm.
So there was a time when I doubted my worth. And I will, share how I doubted, but how I overcame it. So I've been married twice and divorced. My first husband cheated. He was a good guy, but unfortunately, wounds make you make choices. So he cheated on me, and I think that was when my self-worth started declining, because I thought that I was more than enough for him. But when that happened, it made me start devaluing myself. Why? Like, why would he do this to me? I gave him children. I'm beautiful. I'm smart. You always try to use all these things. Like, why? Why would he do this to me? So that was when my self-worth, when I started devaluing myself, I felt like I was not enough, because if I was enough, he would not have done that to me. But over time, after going through counseling, and I realized that it doesn't matter what I did. It was a choice that he made. That was something that he had nothing to do with me. So my counselor, I sat at her feet for 2 years, and it helped. She helped me. She helped me see who I was. She helped me not listen to the lie, right? Bcame said, the more you begin to believe it, then it becomes a part of you. But I believed that lie for years, that I was not enough, because if I was, then that wouldn't have happened. So I went past that. Got a divorce. But what I did not to do is take time to heal, because healing is a journey. So two years later, I was married. I was married again. I dated this young man for 6 months. It was long distance. He was an elder in the church. So we're thinking, oh, yeah, he loves God, so I love God, so we're good. No, it doesn't work like that, because hurt people hurt people. So if you have not taken the time out to work on yourself, then you're not going to be good for anyone else. So anyway, we got married. And I think the one thing with God is that he doesn't leave us alone. He show you the signs. But I think, like, sometimes we see these pink flags, flying around, and we don't take them as red flags. We don't take them as what they are. Because if someone does something or say something and they come back and say, I'm sorry, you take their word for it. You're like, oh yeah, he said that, but he's sorry, and he would say some things that took me back to where I was. But because he said, oh no, that was not my intention, I'm like, okay. But deep down, I was just like, man, I said, he's taking me to a place that I've been before, and I did not like that place. Why am I allowing him to do this to me? But anyway, we went ahead, we got married. And honestly, the day after we got married, I think that's when he let everything out. His whole narcissism came out. It was just like this guy was one way, for 6 months, and then we got married, and he was someone totally different. I mean, he would tell me that, oh, your friends, they're lying to you. They try to act like, you're all that, but I'm gonna tell the truth. You're nothing. You're arrogant. You think you're all that. You're dumb. You're stupid. I mean, he told me all the negative adjectives that you can, my husband. And I remembered at that point I was listening to him, and I said, wait a second. I said, I've only known you for a year. My friends, they've known me for 30 plus years. And if no one has ever said this to me, why should I believe what you're saying to me? He said, oh, because they're your friends and they don't want to hurt you. And I remember I went back to my friend and I said, am I this kind of person? Like, I started questioning myself. I started losing myself again. Like, who are you? Who are you, Michiel? And she said, no, you are not that kind of person. Do not believe those lies. And this went on and on and on and on. I would have annulled that marriage, but COVID hit. So that's when everything shut down. So I had to continue. I decided to do counseling, and I mean, even in counseling, it's lies. It was just lies upon lies upon lies. He tried to devalue me, try to make me feel less than, and I remember one day, like when I decided that I can't do this anymore. I said, I cannot let my son see another man treat me like this, because that's not how I want my son to be. And I can let my daughter, I cannot allow my daughter to see a man treat and talk to me like this, because that's not what I want for her. So for the sake of my kids, I had to get up and do better. And I remember I was praying about it, and I'm like, Lord, I said, I know sometimes we get ourselves in situations and we want you to fix it. But I said, this one, you have to reveal to me that this is where you want me to be, because I am out. I am out. I said, I can't do this anymore. And the thing with me is that I always pray and fast about things, and allow God to free me before I make, decisions. And when the Lord gave me the peace and said, go ahead, that's when I got up and I left. But what I want you guys to realize is that it doesn't matter how much I achieve or you have achieved. There's always this voice inside saying, you could be better, right? You could be better. And I want you to stop listening to those voices. Stop listening to those negative voices of people, whether it's your parents, whether it's your family member, whether it's a boyfriend, whether it's a husband, whoever it may be. Stop listening to those voices and start listening to the voice of God. And it wasn't until I started speaking life over myself by using the word that helped me not to get back to the place where I felt devalued. I felt like I was nothing. I felt like I was unworthy. I felt like I was not a masterpiece. It's only because I kept in the word, and I continuously, whenever he said something negative, I would speak life over myself. And yes, we can do more. We can make ourselves better. But I don't think that we should be doing that for someone else. We should be doing it for us. We should be trying to make ourselves better for ourselves, not because someone says. So one day I finally realized that I was measuring my worth by external things. So I was measuring my worth by what people say, like we spoke about earlier, Queenie, but not by who I truly was. You have to measure your worth by who you are, not what people says, because when you start owning those lies, you become that person. And that was the moment I shifted my mindset. Because if I'd sat there and listened and continued to listen to those lies, continue to be emotionally abused, then who knows where I would have been today?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what I would have been today? But it's like we have to affirm ourselves because we have to know who we are and do not base it on all our external achievements because that's not going to get you anywhere. Yes, I'm a doctor. Yeah, I work hard. I became a doctor. I did well in school. That didn't exempt me from being
Mm-hmm.
devalued, right? It didn't exempt me from being devalued. So stop striving. And this is something I'm working on to stop strive for perfection and start
Mm-hmm.
embracing progress.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
it's two
true.
different things. And I know for me, I'm a perfectionist because that's just how I had to be as a kid. I had to be to get recognized. So sometimes I have to stop and say, hey, Michael, you're not perfect and you'll never be perfect. Stop trying to strive for perfection. Just embrace the small steps that you're taking in your life because at least you're moving forward. You're not moving backwards. And I want the same for each and every one of you. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say to each and every one of you, stop owning those lies. You become those lies. I like that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
true. Stop
That's
owning
true.
them, become those. The more you listen to a lie, the more you begin to believe it about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, what the practical takeaways? We have to start seeing ourselves as a masterpiece. And I kept saying that. You have to start seeing yourself as a masterpiece. And here are 3 simple steps you can take today. Speak life over yourself. Start your day with affirmations. I am worthy. I am beautifully made. I am enough. God has good plans for me. God is with me. I will not be afraid. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I'm a child of God. God is my strength. I mean, those are in the Bible. God says it. Speak those things over yourself. Reject negative labels and replace self criticism with grace. If you wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
say it to your friend, don't say it to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't say it to yourself. Because a lot of times, when I'm thinking about, those, that's why I said you have to keep reaffirming yourself. That's one of the 3
Mm-hmm.
R's that it says you have to keep reaffirming yourself because Satan has a way of bringing you back or putting people in your life that will take you back to
Mm-hmm.
where you don't want to be. So if you would not say something to your friend, something negative, do not say that to yourself. Don't say it to yourself. Embrace growth, not perfection. A masterpiece is never rushed. You are growing, evolving, and becoming. Give yourself time. You have to give
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
So, doctor, what would you say would be the first step? Like when you say speak life over yourself, what would be the first step to doing that? Because a lot of people might think this is like a vague, you know, a way to say it. But what would be the first step for you?
Okay, so the first thing every morning I wake up, I look in the mirror and I said, "Girl, you're about to get this done today, and nothing but stop you." You know, or something. I said, "Look at you, girl." I said, "Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. You're so smart. You so." It's like you're telling before you even enter your day, you're speaking life because somebody's gonna be out there that's gonna say something negative to you. But because you
Mhm.
already fuel yourself with that energy, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they say. It's just
Mhm.
gonna bounce off. So it's like you're making yourself bulletproof. It's
Mm.
like you're bulletproof in
That's true.
yourself. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter because trust me, in my line of work, I encounter nasty people. I'm sure you do too. You're in nursing, in the
Yeah.
healthcare field. You encounter really nasty people. You have the geriatric population that doesn't think twice about what comes out of their mouth. And
Mhm.
sometimes they can say things that you're like, Lord, if I didn't have you today, you know?
Mhm.
So, and of course, I'm attacked a lot of times because of my color that I can't change about myself. You know, I was born black. I will be black till the day I die. So I cannot change that. So if someone does not want to see me because of my color, I'm sorry, it's your loss. And I tell my patients that all the time, it's your loss. You're missing out. But if I wasn't, if I had to speak life over myself and someone say that to me, I would be hurt. I would be crushed. I'd be like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't that? Nuh-uh, it's your loss. I have many other patients I can see. See you later. Bye.
Oh, I wish I could do that here.
I mean, I don't technically say that to them, but I will call my manager and said, hey, this patient does not want to see me. So they can't have anyone else because I'm the only speech pathologist that they have in the company. So if they don't want to see me, it's going to be your loss because you're going to go to someone else, and I'm sure they're not going to give you the quality care that I provide. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
No.
Yeah. So another question I would like to ask as well is that you've bulletproofed yourself during that day, and then you encountered suddenly, like, whether it'll be in your partner or within your family who said something negative about you, just like in that morning. Like, how would you not let yourself be affected? How would you avoid that situation?
Oh,
Or address that situation? Yeah.
It depends, because even though you bulletproof yourself, people can say things that hurt because we're human. We're human, and people will say things that hurt, but it's how you deal with it. It's how you deal with that situation. So someone can say something mean, and I can go and I can react. Or I can take some time. I can think about it. And I mean, I've reacted, because sometimes people say something, you just want to go right back. You lash right back.
Yeah.
And then, but sometimes I'm like, okay, is this really worth the fight? Is this really worth the fight, or should I just walk away from this? So I've learned to choose my battles, and that's what I would say. Just just weigh what it is. If you can talk to the person and they're rational, because some people you cannot talk to. Something I can say, hey, I feel like what you said, did this make me feel this way? And if the person can say, you know what, I'm sorry, they own it, I'm sorry. But then you have other people that you'll say, hey, what you said made me feel this way. And then it's become an argument, a defensive thing, especially if they're narcissistic. So choose your battle. Know who you're talking to, and know the responses, and know the energy that you have to dedicate to that situation that day.
That's good. That's a good point. Yes, it's hard to when you start your day like that.
Before you speak.
That's good.
I think that's something that she should do, because she never counts to 10.
Oh no.
That's a good advice.
That's for everyone. Yeah, wait. I lost my thought. I forgot which question to ask. Wait. So my next question is when once we decide to get away from this situation that is pressuring us, or like devaluing us in situations like that, or get away from friends or partners that are like that, how can we what advice can you share? How do we cope with that sudden change when we decide to leave? How did you do it when you decided to leave on your first marriage?
It was hard. It was really hard. But for me, I was angry, and of course, you go through the process of grieving. It doesn't, a marriage is a death that keeps living on. And I was really, really mad. My ex-husband would come and pick up the kids, and honestly, I wanted to kill him. Like, all these thoughts would come to my head. I mean, I wouldn't technically kill it, but Satan put these thoughts. I didn't want to see it. And I remember I started talking to God, and I said, Lord, I don't want to feel this way. Plus, like you said, those negative energy, it takes over you. It started affecting my health. It started affecting my health. End up with high blood pressure and constant. I had constant headache. I couldn't sleep. It was hard. So I realized that, okay, I am. I think I forgot who said that. It's like anger or unforgiveness. It's like drinking poison, and you're waiting for the other person to die. So pretty much
Mhm.
that's what it was. Like, Lord, take him out. Like you should be driving and just take him out. But what I had to do was fast. I fasted and I prayed and I asked God and I told God I will not stop until I have peace. It took me 4 whole months, 4 months, but I was relentless. I kept praying, I kept fasting, and I kept asking God, like, I want to truly forgive my husband, my ex husband, because that's the only way that we can co parent. And even though we're not together,
Mhm.
to show our children what a relationship looks like. And God granted me that. We are best of friends now. We co-parent very well. You wouldn't even think that we were married and divorced. We are doing business together. Like we're good. We're good. But it took, honestly, it took a lot of me
Wow.
sitting at God Jesus's feet to get to that point.
Mhm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's inspiring. Yeah. And I remember my friend who went, the friend that I told you about. She went into a like a deep depression for several months after that
Mhm.
change when she decided to finally leave. And it was really hard for her to get out of that state. And I know a lot of women who are listening right now may be feeling that way as of the moment. Do you have any advice on how to get out of that and how to just, like start anew and
And you?
help them in some way, help themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy. It's easy to fall into depression. Um, but my I was surrounded with a strong circle of women that would not allow me
Hmm.
to. They would not allow me to.
Hmm.
Because I remember when I got a divorce, I went home. I'm light. People see me, they call me, even my patients call me sunshine. I walk in the room and it's like, hey, you know?
Hmm.
So I wake up in the morning, everything open. Everything open. It's just like I love light. And I remember when it was my ex-husband's mom and dad came over and my room was dark. I mean, the
Hmm.
whole day I was in bed, I was crying, shades not open, curtains not drawn. And they're like, oh, no, 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 we're not going to allow this. And, they open up everything, get up, take a shower, get dressed. Come on, we're going outside for a walk. And my friends were the same. Every week we did something. They still allow me time to grieve. And I also had a great counselor. That's
Hmm.
important as well. Because when you keep things in, I think it hurts even more. And
Hmm.
that's how you get those negative energy and you can fall into depression easily. But I had a great counselor I was talking to. I had my family. And I knew I had my kids to live for. Like I could not
Hmm.
allow myself to do that. So with them alone, that was enough for me to keep going. And then
Hmm.
I had my friends once a month. We all got together and we went out. I mean, we would go to Cheesecake Factory, would close Cheesecake Factory down once a month. I mean, they knew us. They had our booth ready. We got in there. We were going to plays, we're going to movies. I mean, we were doing things. So they did not allow me. So I think if you surround yourself, and I'm not saying don't grieve,
Hmm.
because they allowed me time to grieve, but they did not allow me to stay by myself and grieve. And that helped me a lot.
Hmm. That's good.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing that I've noticed is that, especially with women who get into their substance relationships, and it's gotten to a point where they're completely isolated. Like I've seen people who've been like that, and they were completely isolated. They're far from their family, or they're
Mhm.
broken off relationship, like with their friends, and it was just them and their partner was constantly, abusing them emotionally, mentally, and even physically.
Mhm.
Once they get out of that situation, um, where do you think they'll be able to find the this
of that
because not a
community.
not a lot of women have that support system that we have, you know.
That's
Because
true.
if you let it get to you for several years, like how do we find those friends that will support us
Oh, you're cutting out, but I think what you're asking is how do you find that community? You cut out. I didn't hear the last thing you said. You said how do you find that community or the
yeah
support that you need?
yeah
So my speaker that was on, was it 2 weeks ago? And she was like given different options. Obviously, if they're churchgoers, that's one place you can start is in the church. Um, all
mhm,
my friends, my core group of friends, I met at church. So that's a good place to start. You can start by volunteering because you're not alone. When you're out there volunteering and helping people, it brings joy. It gives you joy to give. When you give and you
mhm,
see the joy in people's face, it brightens your spirit as well. So
mhm,
volunteering is a good thing. The church, support groups, those are really good as well. Um, Podcast, like similar to
mhm,
these, those are good things to check out. Um, I'm sure there are other options out there. Even reading books, like there are different books out there that has to do with anxiety, depression, relationships. I'm a reader. I don't get to sit and read a lot, but I do listen to books as I drive around daily for work. But definitely, I would say find at least one person that you can trust, a
mhm,
counselor that you can trust, and start talking. Because I think is when you let out the toxicity out of your body, that's when it becomes freeing.
mhm.
But if you're holding it all in, that's when it's a problem. So start talking, journaling. Like I was saying before, start journaling, write things down. But you have to. My mom says volunteer and feed the homeless. That's good as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, but you
Oh,
have to let
library.
it
Yeah.
out. If you keep it in, that's when it becomes a problem. There has to be an outlet.
Mhm. We like, I know some of these women are scared, like after encountering that kind of, after being part of that situation.
Hmm.
Um, do you have any advice on how they can open up to, and find, I'm not, they're going to be cautious, extremely cautious, and some of them are going to be, it's going to be difficult for them to open up to new friends, open up
Hmm.
to new people in their lives. Do you have any
Hmm.
advice for them to help them overcome that fear?
Hey, start by saying hello. Start conversations. Start
Mhm.
conversations. Get to know people. Don't just jump into any relationship, whether it's friendship, dating relationship, whatever it may be. Because I know that happened. That happened to me, where
Mhm.
I became real cautious. I didn't trust anybody, and it took a lot for anyone to break down those. I never set walls because walls
Mhm.
are hard to break down, but I do have fences. I set fences. So when I think that I can trust, then I start opening up. I give you more room. Because before I was the
Mhm.
person that give 100% trust. And then if you break it, I keep decreasing. But nope, it's the other way for me. I start with zero trust, and then you have to build it up to 100%. So that's where they would have to start. Just don't jump into stuff and give people everything, because you're setting yourself up to be hurt, because not everyone is trustworthy.
Yeah, that's true. Um, I have another question. I forgot the I lost track of, but wow. Your experience is really, I'm sure a lot of people can really relate to, especially now. There's a lot of,
Mhm.
you know, um, women who are not just even with relationships ships, like even at work,
Mhm.
with friend groups. It's good to be able to recognize, these red flags. And we're so like the our year. It's 2025. Everyone's are forward thinkers. They
Mm-hmm.
know, what to do, but um it's good to be able to recognize these, these patterns, these negative patterns that are gonna imprison us in these relationships that can be, hard for our self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
and help us find the purpose that God wants for us. um
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's it. You have to know your worth and your purpose, like I said.
Hmm.
And I think we're close to wrapping up. So any final
Yeah.
questions or thoughts from the audience, from my co-host? Any other questions? Okay.
Oh.
So
Mm.
in closing, this is what I want you guys to take away. And I'll reiterate from the beginning, you are a masterpiece. Not because of what you do, not because of what you have, but simply because of who you are. And don't forget that.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with what you've gained. It have nothing to do with how you look. It has to do with who you are on the inside. That is. And I hope today's episode reminded you of that truth.
Mhm.
And I mean, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, to share it with a friend, and leave a review. Like leave some comments. I want to get people
Mhm.
talking, asking questions, commenting. It makes us feel like you're involved, you know? And
Mhm.
it helps spread this message to more women who need encouragement. And you can connect on Facebook, and that is Revival of Hope Global Ministries, and also on Facebook Live. On YouTube, ROHGOM. So
Mhm.
those are some ways to stay connected and to share with your friends. Because hey, I have a lot of great things in store for you. So I want you to keep coming back, keep inviting, and keep spreading the word. And thank you so much for being here. This would not be
Yeah.
the same without you. Thank for showing up for yourself. And remember, your journey is just beginning. Keep embracing your masterpiece self. And please join us next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, when we delve into the topic with a special guest speaker, When the Anchor is Gone, Navigating Life After Losing My Dad. So, when the anchor is gone, navigating life after losing my dad.
Mm. That's a good topic. Mhm.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've
Mhm.
spoken to her and it is going to be good. I can't wait for these listeners and these viewers to hear what she has in store, because
Yeah.
the dad is the anchor. A good dad is the anchor, and she had a good dad. So I cannot wait to hear this presentation.
Me
And
too.
just a reminder, a gentle glimmer of hope is a beautiful sign that healing is unfolding within. So even if you're not making leaps and bounds, just know that just a little, each step every day, it's a glimmer of hope. You're still alive. So if you're still alive,
Mhm.
guess what? You're still healing. You're still on
Yeah.
a journey. So
Mhm.
it reminds us that progress is possible even in the toughest of times. So progress is possible even in the toughest of times. And don't
Wow.
forget, you're a masterpiece.
It's profound.
Yes, you're a
Mhm.
masterpiece. Never forget that. So embrace your
Yeah.
masterpiece self.
I'm a masterpiece. Everyone's a masterpiece.
Yes, we're all
Yeah.
masterpiece. Say that to yourself. Even if
Mhm.
that's the only
Mhm.
affirmation you give to yourself this week, I am a masterpiece.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Like I learned a lot from that, from
Oh,
this
you're
talk.
welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. And the funny thing
Mhm.
is, when I was going through this presentation, I was crying. I was supposed to do this last week. I was
Mhm.
crying, and I was wondering, like, why am I crying? And I think because I realized that I allowed someone to devalue me, and I took it. I accepted it. I accepted it. And that's when I told myself, I will never, ever allow anyone to do this to me again. I didn't have to. Like, I look at the people that I know that's been through things like that. They don't have a choice. You know, I have a career, I have a job, I'm self sufficient. I didn't have to take this. I didn't have to take it, but I took it. So, ladies, you don't have to take it. Even if you're not self sufficient, you can. God is going to provide. He's going to make a way out of no way. You do not have to take it. You are a masterpiece. You are a masterpiece. Embrace it. Embrace it. Until next time.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you very much. You are my savior.